You're an idiot.
We're recording.
She's my child.
Yes.
Coach, bit of a different vibe today. Best start of the season so far in terms of first quarter. Can you talk a little bit about the starts that we've been getting? Like I feel like the past few games it's gotten much better, and how that's like translated to the rest of the game.
Yeah, obviously it sets the tone for the game, and obviously we've been inconsistent in that regard for a lot of the season with our starts to the game and giving up big leads. And I just think the work that they've put in over the last couple of weeks, their focus and a renewed focus for like 2025 has like changed that. But I just think our chemistry and our togetherness has really gone to another level, and I think that's really what's transpiring like into the first quarter.
Can you talk about the shooting today? I think we nearly 60% from the field, 13 out of 15 free throws. Like I think only negative today was turnovers. You'd say, like, can you talk a little bit about that?
The only negative with 30 turnovers, yeah. I just think the same thing is like I think we do enough work with practice and our shooting. I think there's been more of a focus and a discipline about making shots. And we've had some hard practices with some extra conditioning with like our shooting. And we're getting shots. Is like when I look at the stats sheet at the end of games, we get enough shots. It's been our conversion rate and making from field goal, threes, free throws that haven't been like great. And finally, with a bit of discipline, that's like starting to turn, and that has a huge impact on the scoreboard when we can put scoreboard pressure on other teams.
And defensively as well, Coach held them to 69 points. Through three quarters, they only had about 56.
Yeah.
I think it was. 44 through three quarters.
Yeah.
Can you talk about a bit about the defensive intensity that the team showed, is that something that's been more of a focus on in practice in recent weeks?
I don't think it's been more of a focus really than what it has been right from the very start. I think the focus has been with the scout and knowing individuals better. For some of them, it was their first time in the league and playing against different people. So now they've had a feel for everybody or every team once through. I think there's been more deliberate focus with our scouting, our individual accountability, one-on-one, and our team defense. Just being able to know where people are and understanding the schemes and the style that we wanted to play defensively. It was always going to take us like some time, but now it's all starting to click. And I think same thing together, our chemistry and our togetherness has really helped that.
Ella, you played a pretty big role in today's game. Can you talk a bit more about, like, I feel like you've settled more into your role now with the team, and how much more comfortable are you, like, in this, like, say, the past month compared to where you were at the start of the season?
Yeah, I am way more comfortable. I think also off court we've worked a lot of like team bonding and stuff where we've been more vulnerable with each other, and I think that's like transferred onto the court. So I think that knowing that my teammates trust me, I trust them, vice versa. I think I just thrive in those types of environments where the trust is reciprocal, and just been getting in the gym a lot more. And I had a good Christmas break, good New Year, and back with the gang. So yeah, really happy to be back on the court with everybody. So it's been a great start for us for 2025. So just got to keep the ball rolling.
And Ella, just kind of a bit more on that. You had 4 plays in double figures today as well, and for you had a pretty good game, 20 minutes as well. But it must be great to see everyone just consistently stepping up, and for you also to have a pretty good game.
Yeah, 100%. It's really exciting to see your teammates like thrive, especially because it's been a bit rocky. Now just like seeing everyone like put in the work and then everything come into fruition from their work. And as God said, we've had some really tough practices since we've come back. So just to see everybody, buy in, get behind each other, and just be supportive and excited for each other's successes has been great for us.
Paul, I did want to ask about Nicole Munga. She didn't miss a shot tonight, which was today, which was pretty insane, and also had a pretty good game last week. But it must be great to see her have a real confidence in her shot taking at the moment.
Yeah, I think everyone's got full trust in Munga just because the amount of work that she does.
Yeah.
She's our hardest worker in this team by far. She's always in the gym getting up extra shots. On days off, she's doing like extra, and I think that's just a credit to like her and her professionalism. And how she approaches the game and does all of this extra work. I couldn't be more happier for her that she's deserving this and starting to get like rhythm within our team, because yeah, she's a great shooter. She's a great player, and for me, I'm happy is like she's been more consistent at the defensive end too.
Yeah, and I also just wanted to quickly ask about Nards, who was marking up on Hayley Jones for a lot of the night, who plays for Atlanta, and she's also going to Atlanta in the WNBA, which is exciting. But what do you think she gets out of playing against her, like the experience against the WNBA?
Yeah, I think it's like that's exactly it. It's playing against WNBA players, and we've got a couple in this league, and that's the challenge for like Nards, and we think she's one of the best defenders like in our team, but also one of the best defenders like in the league because of her length and athleticism. So it's good experience for her being able to like take that into her WNBA career.
Speaking of Nards, coach, I feel like earlier in the season she's a bit more reluctant to shoot from three, but like in the past few weeks she's getting more of those shots up in games. Like, was that something that's like you've been getting on her before?
Yeah, well, you got to do the work, and I think for her, she's now realising and putting in the work with her shooting and getting up like more shots at game tempo, and just feeling comfortable and confident to like take those when she's open and not hesitating. When she's in rhythm, it's not too bad. We've still got some like work to do, but it's definitely a testament to the extra work that she's putting in with the shooting.
Similar line of questioning to Abby, because you obviously coach Hayley in the WNBA. How do you decide who the matchup is, and how do you prepare when you know that player's game inside and out, especially when you do a lot of scouting in the WNBA?
Yeah, I think it's best matchups for us is like obviously you got to look at like length, size, where you think you might have an advantage in, and obviously like Hayley's not playing the point where she played that in the WNBA, so she's playing more of a 3-4. So that was like obviously Nards, and Hayley's a big guard and Nards is a big guard, so that matchup kind of like made sense from a size perspective. They both got like great size and both can play the 3 and the 4, so it was more in around that was the matchup that we felt comfortable with because Hayley can take you down and post you up as well.
We've seen the team grow to the point where you can start you can end the first quarter with 4 bench players and start the second quarter with 4 bench players on. Can you just talk about that growth and cohesion and trust that's going both of you, I guess, because it's really cool to see Toff come out in the end of the first and the start of the second and just ace it again. It's really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're doing the work at practice, and guys made it a point when we got back, like our job on blue, so we split up our teams black and blue, is to just compete. And so I feel like once we've taken that in, we've like elevated our preparation as well for practices, and then that's obviously like it's obviously transferred onto the court. So I feel like we're getting more and more comfortable, more competitive, and more confident in playing with each other. Yeah.
I think from my part, I think there's a trust and belief that I have in them that they can compete, and that's why I've like no hesitation. Obviously, there's going to come times if it's not your day, you're going to probably like sit a little bit more, but I have no hesitation 1 through 10 throwing like people out there because, as I said, we do the work, and I have trust and belief that they're good enough to be here and be in the league. Obviously, they need experience because we are young, but I have like no hesitation in throwing people like in and out depending on what the game needs.
Ella, big match. You had a big matchup today against Keely, who's one of the more established, like bigs in the league. And you had a couple of big blocks of her I think in the fourth quarter it was. Do you get up for these type of matchups?
Say that again, sorry.
Do you get up for these type of matchups more, like when you're going against an established, like, star player in the league, such as Keely?
I mean, I think I was just trying to concentrate on what was happening in the timeout. Guys just made it a point to me to like fight through fatigue and like really try and
focus.
Focus. So refocus. I had a couple of mishaps in the game, so I was like, okay, I can't control how scoring's going or anything, but I can control my effort on the defensive end. But kudos to Keely. I really admire her game and watched her for a long time now, and so to get a couple of those was obviously encouraging for me as well. So yeah.
Looking ahead, we're up against Adelaide again next weekend, back at home this time. Now that you've faced them twice, obviously split both games, what do you expect coming into that matchup?
We're going to win. That's how we're looking at each game is like we've now broken down this second part of the season is we've got to get series wins against people. I still think we're not mathematically outside of probably the 4th spot. There's a lot of teams trying to lose their way into 4th. We're going to try and win our way into 4th. And we spoke to the group after the Adelaide win about series wins are really important. It's not just the win of the game, it's getting series wins on these other teams that we've still got to play either 2 or 3 times. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you.
guys.
Good work.